Finally, we have something coming up in the entry-level premium segment. There's the Audi Q2 and the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe launching this month, and then there's the Mercedes A-Class sedan also coming in a couple of months. Then there's the newer generations of the A3 and Q3 also scheduled for the Indian market. Basically, a lot of buzz in that segment. From that segment, we have with us the new BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe or the BMW 2GC with us for a nice detailed road test review. So, how is the most affordable Beamer to live with? How is it to drive? And importantly, does it make a sensible purchase for you or not? Let's find out answers to all your questions in our video. So stay tuned till the end of this video. So the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe gets a twin turbocharged 2-liter diesel engine. While the engine may look a bit small on the papers, but the same power figures come on the bigger 320D as well. So this car is lighter and more compact than the 3 Series, so you can just imagine how fun it will be to drive and what it has to offer under the hood. Moving on, the 2 Series Gran Coupe is about 4.5 meters long, 1.87 meters wide and about 2.67 meters of its wheelbase. So if you compare it with the 3 Series, the wheelbase is down by nearly 200 mm and the car is shorter in length by nearly 300 mm. As you can see, the 2 Series Gran Coupe is the recipient of the large kidney grille that we have been seeing in the recent BMW cars starting from the 7 Series and the X7. Moreover, the car is very good looking, very handsome and is completely young at heart. There are muscular edges all over the body, there are sleek headlamps, sleek DRLs, these frameless doors and a nice toned boot. Do not miss out these flashy 18-inch alloy wheels and of course the dual exhaust tips which make it like a proper sports car. Although there's one bit of a downside to these frameless doors is that the third of the door closing is not a good sound you want to hear, especially in a premium car like BMW. So BMW needs to work on that specifically. And lastly, we have with us this 2 Series Gran Coupe in this smurf blue color, which basically brings out its young styling and of course it's flashy and jazzed up appealing. Step inside the cabin of the 2 Series and you'll be greeted by a completely different taste altogether. While the 2GC may look all jazzed up from the outside, however inside it follows a more subtle and classy way of styling. For example, you get this nice dual tone black and beige color theme on the dashboard. However, it also gets these carbon detailing done right on the center console. Also, if you notice that there are a lot of switches, a lot of technologies present on the dashboard of the 2GC. However, they are so well placed that the cabin does not look cluttered at all. Some of the main highlights of the 2GC include a more advanced digital cockpit system with fully digital instrument cluster and a 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Talking specifically about the digital instrument cluster, well, you can see a lot of information, actually most of information right while you are driving itself. So you have integrated viewing for navigation, for the radio control, for the Apple CarPlay, and also while scrolling through the information you can check out the driving range, the driving mode, how much torque and power is being consumed at a certain RPM and more information like that. So you can actually look at, if for example if you are going at some 1500 or 2000 rpm, how much torque and how much power are you actually getting from the car. That's where you can look right at the cluster. Now moving on, it has a nice steering wheel, a nice touch to it with this M badging at the bottom. It's the M Sport top end variant that we have over here. And at the back of the steering wheel you have paddle shifters. On the left side you have settings or controls for the cruise control, and on the right you have the controls for voice assist, telephone and audio controls. Further, moving towards the center console, it gets a new 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system that now supports wireless Apple CarPlay, internet car technology, voice assisted features and also some gesture control features. There are already 6 of the gesture control features installed, and you can have it installed more whenever you want. So let's check some of the gesture control features right now.
खुद का राज कायम किया बाद में फकीर $618 billion to touch a new lifetime high. Save the voice.
Moving on, as you can see in between, these are switches for the AC control. There's no touchscreen for the AC and it feels good to operate. Below that there are manual control, manual switches for changing the music track, changing the radio station and increasing and decreasing the volume. It also supports wireless chargers and gets 2 bottle holders right at the front with a cigarette burner as well. Moving towards the gearbox area, if you don't want to use the touchscreen over here, you have rotary dials and switches over here as well. You have media, home, map, navigation and a big rotary dial which basically acts as a cursor. Then you have a nice gearbox over here. It's an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and just like every other BMW car, gearbox is designed in a similar way. Besides the gearbox, you have many switches which include traction control, parking sensors, automatic start-stop, engine start-stop push button, and the driving modes which include Sport, Comfort, and Eco Pro. Lastly, you have electronic parking brake and also the auto hold function. For the front passengers, you have sport seats. That means they are well bolstered, they are very accommodating, very adjusting, and you have a nice support on the sides. As you can see here, I'm seated very comfortably in a focused driving posture, and same goes for the front passenger as well. He or she will get the same level of comfort that I am getting. Further, there is electrical adjustment for the front seats, and there's lumbar support with memory function, and also there is adjustable knee support for someone who is taller than me. And if you see the view from the bonnet over here is quite good. I can see a lot of things at the front. The complete bonnet line is visible, and if you want a better position, well, you have the electrical adjustment for the seat. Now let's check out how is the 2GC at the back. Since it's a coupe, it has a falling roof line, so I get it, you might be having some mixed reactions. Now I'm seated at the back and it's a coupe, right? So it gets a sharply falling roofline over here, and I am about 5'10" and I can barely fit inside the cabin comfortably. but that's just in terms of the headspace. As you can see, there's no headspace over here. I'm just about to touch the roof line. However, the knee space or the leg space is adequate. I can stretch my legs here. I'll be a bit comfortable, and also the under thigh support is just about right. Moreover, BMW terms this cabin at the back suitable only for two passengers, and that's right. Only two passengers can be seated here at the back. The third person won't fit at all. However, that said, even for two fully grown adults, they might just not like sitting at the back. So, if you have to ask me for the perfect seating configuration of this car, it's more advisable for the husband and the wife who seated at the front and the teen children or just a child at the back, because it's a coupe, it's a car that is meant to drive, so you can't convert this into a family car at all. And talking more about the back seat over here, the view of the window is quite good. These frameless doors are really nice over here, and the addition of this big panoramic sunroof really adds up to the airy feeling inside the cabin. You have AC vents at the back. There's no individual AC control unit at the back. You can just adjust this blower speed. Then you have two C-type USB chargers present at the back. You have a nice center armrest that gets these two cup holders right in between. And lastly, the speaker setup is present here just below the door handle. Driving the BMW 2GC has been fun, even if I was driving in the traffic, even if I was on highways where I could just go flat out and test the high speeds of this car. Everything has been such a delight. It's really a very fun car to drive, and if you see, it gets a 2-liter twin turbo diesel engine that is good for 190 bhp and 410 newton meters of peak torque. So 410 newton meters of peak torque is actually a bit lot on the paper. It seems lot for a car this size, and that's why, coupled up with the compact dimensions, make the BMW 2GC a completely fun car to drive. It can reach from 0 to 100 in just 7.5 seconds flat, and the top speed has been electronically limited up to 235 kilometers per hour. Although you might not be going to that limits on the Indian roads per se, I personally went up to some high triple digit speeds, and the experience was amazing. The engine feels quite responsive, quite energetic, and it doesn't feel like it is underpowered. There's power delivery, there's enough grunt present at all times. Even if you are driving in the city, even if you want to overtake, you have power present at all times. The BMW 2GC will support you no matter what. The low-end torque and the mid-range torque has been one of the most favorite highlights about this car, since in India we spend most of our time traveling in the city, so we have to look at the part where you won't find trouble, you won't find the car underpowered while it is in the low end range of the RPM. The low end and the mid range of the 2GC is quite strong, and mid range is where the main juice lies. You get the 410 Newton meters peak torque right off up to 2500 RPM, so the turbo starts kicking in right from 750 to 2000 RPM, just like that. And below that, the torque delivery, the torque generation is quite strong. It's not that enthusiastic, not as strong as the mid-range, but yes, for the city traffics and for just going inside the small congested lanes, it's quite enough. As you cross 1750 2000 rpm, what you get is the seamless flow of torque, seamless flow of power delivery, and there's no sudden torque input. There's no such thing like the pushback effect present over here. It's just quite linear, builds up speed gradually but very swiftly. It's not at all slow in that part. And if you see, the same power figures come on the 320D, and if you see, the 320D with the diesel engine is quite adequate, has a lot of power delivery, and imagine the 2GC being lighter and more compact, it will just keep you on the edge all the time. The 2GC feels quite agile, quite fun to drive. It's very amazing to push this thing through the corners, although at some times I found that the 3 Series would have been better at handling. I haven't had the 3 Series driven for a long time, so might have just forgotten, might have been confused, but seems like yes, the 3 Series is better in terms of handling. Nonetheless, the steering is quite direct. The feedback of the steering wheel is quite good. It's lightweight, and as you gain speed, it starts gaining weight additionally. The 8-speed automatic gearbox here is somewhat a better version, improved version of what you find on the other BMW diesel cars. The engine and the gearbox combination are very well paired, and it feels like whenever the engine needs the gearbox and vice versa, they both are present for each other no matter what. Sort of a very happy love story. And the gearbox is quite quick to respond. It's very smooth, very easy to operate, negates the in-gear shifting lags and jerks to almost negligible. And even if when you are driving in a relaxed manner, and if you are on the drive mode, comfort mode, or the Eco Pro mode, you won't even notice when the gears are being shifted. Although for your information, I should tell you that the gears shift at around 2000 rpm. If you increase the pressure on throttle, even then it will shift the gears right between 2000 to 2250 rpm. If you could decide to go flat out with this car, the gearbox is very quick to respond to that. It quickly, swiftly changes the gears, brings down to whatever gear is suitable for that rpm, and in just a matter of seconds you are speeding up. Even if you are driving on the comfort mode, you will get some sort of performance, but for the maximum level, you need to switch on the sport mode, get your paddle shifters in the hand, and off you go. If you have the paddle shifter, you can rev up nicely till 4500 rpm. Just a couple of times I have managed to reach the red line as well. However, if you are operating the sport mode with the automatic gearbox, the gearbox will actually allow you to rev up till 4000 rpm, and that's when it will change the gears. So for even more basically speed, you will have to use the paddle shifters. That's more suitable with the car. Further, now that brings me to the cabin insulation, the refinement of the engine. The diesel clatter is very less, can be barely heard inside the cabin. The tire noise, yes, it's heard, but overall the cabin insulation is very nice. I can barely hear the horn and the buzzing of the cars going besides me. And as I told you, the engine noise can be barely heard. If you cross 2500 rpm, that's when the engine noise gradually starts coming inside. But if you have the AC playing, AC switched on and the music playing, you won't even hear the engine noise up till 3000 rpm. That's how refined it is. No diesel clatter at all. It does have a throaty exhaust to it. However, it's not that loud, and you have to switch off the music and really work on your revving to listen the throaty exhaust clearly. The ride quality of 2GC remains plush, very well balanced, well sorted. The adaptive dampers and the chunky tires help out in flattening most of the undulations that you throw at it. and it can easily absorb most of the potholes and undulations, damaged roads at whatever speed you're going on. Even if you are going at low speeds or high speeds, you'll barely get any discomfort seating inside the cabin, even if you are on the driver's seat, on the front passenger seat, or for that instance, even at the back. There are a few things that you personally won't like about the 2GC. Most of them are pros only, no cons as such. Just the handling could have been a little bit better. That's the only flaw that I found with it. Otherwise, it still carries the sporty quotient that every BMW car possesses and lives up to that name. This is a car which is not at all for a chauffeur-driven guy, for a family person, but for a person, for a buyer, for an auto enthusiast who wants his daily ride to be a fun diesel car. And the 2GC is definitely one such sedan which you will enjoy pushing it to the maximum limits that you can. Talking about the driving aids that I have on the 2GC, one of them is the driving modes. I have Sport, Eco Pro, and Comfort driving modes present for me. uh, it's not like other cars, like where you can just where you see the change in the throttle response, but here there's a lot difference. For starters, yes, the throttle response is sharper in sport mode. Steering wheel also becomes sharper. It suddenly gains extra weight and becomes more direct, has a better feedback than compared in the Eco Pro and the Comfort mode. And also there's change in the gear shifting. The gears rev up easily to higher limits, while on the Comfort and Eco Pro mode, you will find the gear shifting right at 2000 rpm. The Sport mode allows you to go up to as high as 4000 rpm. In the Eco Pro mode, definitely the throttle response is lethargic. The steering wheel response is also a bit lethargic. It's not that enthusiastic as compared in the Sport mode, and but mainly it does live up to its name, that is maintaining the fuel efficiency. ARI claimed figures of the 2GC is about 18.6 kmpl, and on our average we drove about 150 160 kilometers in our test review, and we were able to achieve on an average of 16 kilometers per liter. Isn't that just right for a 30 lakhs plus BMW car? Like, it's easy on the pocket and is also fun to drive. What else do you need? Further, you also get the traction control, which can be switched on, switched off as per your needs. You have the BMW launch control, the driving dynamics working flawlessly without letting you know that it's actually even working. Then you have the auto start stop system. Whenever you stop at a signal, when the car goes idle for more than a couple of seconds, the engine is automatically switched off, and as soon as you press the pedal or you just move the steering wheel, the engine is back to its life again. BMW 2GC is the most affordable Beamer that we can buy, making it a very big moment for all those BMW fanatics. With these prices, it's considerably a lot more affordable than the 3 Series. 2GC is for those who love the BMW car, its flashy styling, its driving experience, and are ready to compromise on making the 2GC a family car or a chauffeur driven car. It has no direct rivals as of now, making it one of the earliest ones in the entry level premium segment. Of course, we soon have the Mercedes A Class sedan also upcoming. The Gran Coupe can be a perfect daily driver and quickly transform into an entry level sports car, making it adaptive to both the conditions that you throw at it. Also, it's quite feature loaded, and as of now, we have no cons, no problems with the car. So, if you liked watching this video, give us a thumbs up, share this video, and subscribe to Car Blog India for more such car reviews and bike reviews. This was the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe, and this was your host Tarun Kocher signing off. Thank you.